Give me a reason to talk smack. Make me wanna bring the polo Lacoste back. Nah, fuck all that. I'm trying to turn my classes to all black. Face, give me a call back. I'm waiting on that one-to-one jacket for fall jack. Already got the exclusive Dungeon Forward hat. Politically fresh. BLM velour mask. Socially distant. The quarantine is supposed to be different. How we getting more money than before it existed? I'm owning the business. Be blessed, supposed to be Christian. Money is God. I just want my homie to witness. Miracles from BK to Hell's Kitchen. Hell's Kitchen to Queens. Queens to Bronx is where the story is written. Cause hip-hop was a savior for so many of us. Get bitches, get money. Stop envying us. What? The snakes in the grass be the friendliest. The ones who say less be the deadliest. The niggas who talk cash be penniless. Get money, bye-bye, don't be so envious. The snakes in the grass be the friendliest. The ones who say less be the deadliest. The niggas who talk cash be penniless. Get money, bye-bye, don't be so envious.
All that, thinking y'all all that. Y'all better fall back before I start knocking everyone's jaw back. Rattling inside the tall grass. His diamonds on his head. Stop before I snatch a stink of his ball cap. I'm so rap, envy y'all all maps. I'm spitting what's in front of me while I'm also pushing the law back. I could show you where my heart's at. Some people try calling, I forgot, but some not getting a call back. Me and Sonny dressing in all black, we vigilant. My life a story, but some seeds that haven't written it. Donald Trump trying to keep us away from citizens, from trying to stop us visiting some knowledge we ain't visit yet. We've been so distant from practicing social distancing. My only mission is spreading the word of businessmen. I learned that power in black businesses and try to abuse every single business that black women in. Snakes in the grass be the friendliest. The one who say less be the deadliest. The niggas who talk cash be the penniless. We getting money, papa, don't be so envious. Snakes in the grass be the friendliest. The one who say less be the deadliest. The niggas who talk cash be the penniless. We getting money, papa, don't be so envious.
Look. Don't get it twisted, I love spending cheddar, but investing in property is the next endeavor. Spent so much on dumb shit trying to spend better, till all my niggas buy stock, that's the trendsetter. Rather buy me a bar than be balling out. I'm almost 40, I'm thinking early retirement. Before we claim in the streets, we gon' call it out. Plus the city is mine and I'm supplying it.
You supplying the city, I'm trying to make it out. This goes out to the people that ain't make it out. I was young running in and out of my neighbor's house. Certain situations, you step back and see you play it out. I used to play it out, moving smarter for this. I count my blessings, I pray to God that he listening. I used to take a few L's but never forfeit. You show what's been missing, so now let's finish this.
The snakes in the grass be the friendliest. The ones who say less be the deadliest. The niggas who talk cash be penniless. Get money, bye-bye, don't be so envious. The snakes in the grass be the friendliest. The ones who say less be the deadliest. The niggas who talk cash be penniless. Get money, bye-bye, don't be so envious.
Yeah. It's envy you all.
Yeah. Y'all already know who it is. Look, too many assholes out here think they kill a mic like they rap them. They mad cause they pencil number 2 when I test them. Pissing on you rappers cause y'all store more than wrestlers. You don't wanna cross me, don't you do what the next do? Look, I don't really care what the rest do. Strategic when I move throughout your squares like a chess move. I'm out this fucking world when I plan it like it's Neptune. I got the dope, so don't you get it twisted like a pretzel. I do a lot of eating for a lot of reasons. I'm Puerto Rican with some flavor, use a lot of seasoning. Call me sir like a professor, I do a lot of teaching. I don't slack, it's in my genes, so I don't gotta crease them. I don't believe in negatives, I turn my eyes to evens. I don't gotta be polite on the mic just so I can please them. I go sumo when I'm spitting like a Polynesian. Then spring up while summer fall, this is not your season. I am who I be. I don't got no problems with questions, but don't question. And that's me. Yeah. No filters, just I am who I be. I am who I be. And that's me. Come on. I am who I be. I am who I be. And that's me. I am who I be. I am who I be. And that's me.
Once again,
It's guns. I'm talking high level, rhyme scheming, my wheels turning, I spin your pedals. These bars is prize medals in the first place. It's not safe, you'll have a hard time gelling with me. It's on lock, I won't exonerate. Top flow, hot kitchen, you need a fire escape. So bright, can't see me, your pupils dilate. You want fly, I'm on air when I broadcast. Every time I turn around, it's envy, and I ain't Charlemagne. It's a marathon, dog, trust me, I can sleep at night. You could try to run it, I'm just trying to hike the ticket price. Zoom calls with the team on expansion. I'm the presidente, no government branches. Outlandish bandit, hogging the bandwidth. They accusing me of murder and I'm caught with my hands red. Colder than a snowfall, baby, I'm Franklin. This is real chemistry, no slaughterhouse antics.
So on that album, could suck my dick. Are you kidding me?
Nigga, suck my dick. Don't go there. Don't do that.
I am who I be. I am who I be. And that's me.
There's no cap, there's no filter, just
I am who I be. I am who I be.
And
that's me.
There's no cap, there's no filter, just me.
I am who I be. I am who I be. And that's me.
There's no cap, there's no filter, just me.
I am who I be. I am who I be.
And
that's me.
There's no cap, there's no filter, just me.
You already know. True words. Guns. And King Virtue.
Hey y'all, we are here for another amazing episode of Let's Get Activated podcast. You got me, your girl Samantha Lavelle, and we have the amazing King Virtue in the building. How you doing?
Awesome. Thank you for having me.
Oh no, this is a pleasure. I'm excited. You know, you got the whole GOAT squad I see up in the comments. This is definitely going to be dope. This is going to be a wonderful night of hip hop. You know, we were just vibing out, to, So Envious and Who I Be, both produced by you. Do you want to kind of, break down the production and just the premise of the tracks?
Yeah. So Envious is a record that one of the GOAT Squad artists, his name is So Soon, Sound of Something Out of Nothing. He's actually my cousin. So we grew up together. So we're a few years apart, and he's literally been rapping since we were kids, and he's an amazing rapper. So when I first started doing production, he was the first person to actually rap over one of my beats. So for a long time, I would send him stuff here and there sporadically, and most of the time he really wasn't really rocking with it. And I hit him up actually at the beginning of really right at the beginning of the quarantine of COVID. And I reached out to him. I was like, hey, look, man, like I really, really stepped my game up, like big time. And I sent him a bunch of beats, and he was actually feeling them for the first time in a long time. Mm-hmm. So long story short, we decided to start working together and create an album, which he created, Sony Quarantine, which is an amazing project. And we did that, and then we also did, this was a standalone record with another artist called Envy. That's what he goes by. So anyway, I just happened to make the beat, and he heard it, he loved it, and he wanted to do something to it. And the video is incredible, as you saw. I mean, it's great visuals. Mm-hmm. It was a sample that I came across. Boom bap is definitely my favorite genre of hip hop to produce, and so he killed it. I mean, he smoked the song and then did the video, and it's still one of my favorite beats that I've done. I like to go a little bit crazy. Sometimes I go sample heavy. Sometimes I like to do completely from scratch. I mean, it really depends on the mood that I'm in. I try not to be a one-dimensional beat maker. I try to be, as creative as possible, depending on the artist that I'm working with. And then the Who I Be video, that really started with, I work with True Words a lot, who's the founder of GOAT Squad, and really a big part of the reason why I'm here now. I reached out to him around the same time, maybe a little bit after, actually, and really just wanted to get into the game. I came across him on Twitter, came across his feed, and he was just rapping his ass off. Like, it was crazy. So I'm like, who is this guy? How come I never heard of him? How come he's not signed? He's really just like an incredible MC. So I DM'd him. I was just like, yo, I'm a producer, I'd love to work. And he was gracious enough to actually hit me back, because you know how it is. You get spam all the time from people,
Yep.
yo, let's work and all this other stuff. And he actually responded, and I did I broke the cardinal rule, which I tell everyone not to do now. I told him to just go to my SoundCloud, which is like the worst thing you can do, because there's so much access to beats out there. But he did, and he eventually found something off of there, and we did our first record. Which was phenomenal, and then we started a relationship from there, and then we started doing singles and working together and kind of building what started out as a collection of people that were coming to him for guidance to learn about the hip hop game and how to improve their craft, whether you're a producer, a rapper, singer, whatever it may be. He's a guy that has a lot of information. So it started from that, from a Patreon, and it turned into Goat Squad. And other people started coming in. So it's been quite a journey we've had. It started with a few people, and a few people have come and gone, but we have a very strong core right now. And long story short, for that song, the way that me and him work, because he's in New Jersey, here in VA, a lot of the collaborations are done via IG chat.
Right.
So I'll be sitting in the studio and coming up with some some sound effects, some piano, some samples, something like that. And I started messing with the chimes, as you heard on the record. I was just playing around with it, and he heard the chimes. He's like, "Wait, oh, what's that? What's that?" And I was like, just some chimes. And he's like, "Yo, I like that." So I took the chimes, like, all right. And then I just started cooking up right there. Started adding some drums, then found the bass line and sent it to him. And then he was like, "Yo, this is a dope record." And then Gons, who's also part of Goat Squad, would be perfect for it. So then we sent it to him. And then, long story short, we made a dope record, and then we had the opportunity to shoot the video for it when we were on tour in August. So it did really, really, really well. It's like 115,000 streams and going. People really resonated with the record. It's dope. It's a very simple record, but the bars are hard. The beat is crazy, and it's just one of those like pure hip hop records. When you hear it, you want to hear it again. So.
Most definitely. I love it. I definitely, want to give a shout out to, you and the entire Goat Squad. It's like a match made in heaven. I just humbly, am grateful for you guys, because you're keeping that real hip hop alive. You're preserving the culture. Another thing I got to say about the videos, you don't have all the little booty shaking and stuff in there. It's just that real organic hip hop that we still need. So I salute you all. All of you all are dope, by the way. The whole squad.
Nah, thank you. Yeah. And you know what? It's a conscious decision that we all are like-minded in that, we really try to stay true to ourselves, not to sound cliche, but, if you listen to any one of our music, our songs, as different as we are as artists, you're not going to hear any like gratuitous violence or misogyny or anything that's, the typical or stereotypical, garbage that is killing hip hop right now. You'll actually hear people's truths, you know what I'm saying? And in one way or another, you'll hear a great representation of who they are and where they are in their life. Most of us are, blue collar working people that, just happen to love hip hop and are good at it and just want to make sure that we're heard. So, we're not talking about, wearing crazy chains and driving, 745s and, the stuff that people tend to make up just to sound cool. That's not what we do. We like to give it to you real, not to sound, again, corny, but that's the truth. You listen to anybody in Goat Squad, you're going to hear something and it's going to resonate with you in one way or another. So we pride ourselves on that.
Most definitely. Hey, I love it. We say it's cliche, but keeping it real is the best way to be. So look, I'm forward. This is a breath of fresh air. This definitely is, because we don't get that all the time. So whenever we can get that, and when you can get a team to be on the same page, kind of like my team, it's an amazing thing.
Yep. No, that it makes it that much better. I mean, we learned that, like I said, it's kind of been, almost at this point, like 2 years in the making, and we learned a lot. The tour kind of changed our life in a lot of ways, but that was the first time we actually had all been together in one room. Everything had been, because we're from so many different places, everything had just been done, online, especially with COVID and everything else. So the fact that it was our first time, for some people, performing, you know, in a setting like that. I mean, everyone had performed at some point in their life, but together, you know, and doing, you know, 4 cities back to back together and opening for the acts and bonding and, you know, learning each other and all that stuff. It was just a really great experience. And we grew as artists, you know, even in that short period of time, and we bonded in a way that we realized that not only is this something that needed to happen, but we realized that we actually were good at it. You know what I'm saying? Like, some people, you know, we went into it knowing that this is either going to make us or break us. You know, I'm a firm believer that there's a lot of people that are great studio rappers, but they're not good live performers. And that's okay.
Right.
Some people are just better. I mean, there's famous artists that are really good in the studio, but then when you go to their show, they put on a terrible show.
Right.
And there's a few that I love and I won't even mention because I have such a high regard for them, but I've seen them live and their show was horrible. So bad I wanted my money back. But it doesn't take away from the classic material that they released in the studio. So once we went on tour and we realized that we actually were performing really good and getting the crowd engaged, like, that was something that was truly special, that we learned, like, yo, not only are we good at this, but we like it and we want to keep doing it. So that was a big thing for us.
Yeah, I was peeping the pictures and then like the footage of the tour. Like, it just looked like you guys were just in sync and having, you know, a good time, and it looked like the energy was just, you know, like just up there.
That was the biggest compliment that we got from the other acts that were on the tour, as well as the founder of it, Full Blast Booking. He goes by Deucebug, Kenny Mercer. That was the number one compliment that we got from everyone was, you know, the energy. You know, they tossed it around a lot. They said, you know, we were like the new Wu-Tang, which is flattering. I mean, we're not the new Wu-Tang. We're dope as hell, but I mean, there's only one Wu-Tang, right? But the sentiment is that we were in sync. You know, when we went up there, we weren't stepping on each other's toes. We weren't stepping on each other's lines. Everyone had a different style and a different approach, but it still all gelled and worked together. And we only had a 13-minute set, so there was a lot of us. A lot had to get done in that 13 minutes. So it was back to back to back to back. But it was executed perfectly. And each night we did it, it was better and better and better. So, yeah.
Awesome. And you say you did 4 cities. What were the cities?
I don't want to mess up. So the first one was Oakdale. Yeah, I got it in front of me to make sure. Yeah, the first one was Oakdale. So that was Pace One and Young Z. The second one was we opened for Rod Digga in Clifton, New Jersey.
Nice.
Then it was Worcester, Maine, Dizzy Wright. Massachusetts, not Maine, excuse me. Then it was Manchester, New Hampshire with Cannabis and Afro. And then we closed out in New Haven, Connecticut with Ghostface.
That's dope. That's really dope. Now, I know with all that, the energy of the tour and the excitement, do you guys have like some more like tours or shows coming up?
Yes. So actually, let me correct. So that was a 5-city tour, not a 4.
Okay.
The 4 I'm thinking of is actually coming up. So we have the CL Smooth tour, which is dope because not the entire team's going to be there, but we have 4 members of Goat Squad that's going to be doing the last 2 dates, and that's actually this weekend. It's
nice.
the 30th anniversary of They Reminisce Over You, CL Smooth and, you know, P-Rock, which legends, and P-Rock is one of my favorite producers of all time, huge inspiration. But we have Mike Hoffa and Gons and Tony Dimes and So Soon doing the Worcester, Massachusetts Electric Haze. That was one of the spots we did last time. And then also New Haven, Connecticut at a place called State House. So they're doing those 2 dates. Opening up for CL Smooth, which is amazing. I won't be there as much as I wanted to be there, but Ghost Squad will be in attendance and they will be killing it for sure. Then we have on December 3rd, we have the amazing opportunity with Full Blast Booking again to actually headline a one-off show, which is incredible that we get almost 40 minutes to headline.
Wow.
Yeah. So that when we found that out, it was super humbling, you know, that we got that opportunity to do that. And, you know, we're planning an amazing show, and that's a lot of time for us to really, you know, 13 minutes goes by very quickly, especially when you have so many people. So now we'll be able to kind of slow it down a little bit, just in the sense of like, you can really kind of get to know some of the members because we are so different in so many different ways.
Mhm.
Bring something different to the table when we perform. So that's a one-off. And then we have Rod Digger, and that's going to be 4 days in January. That's January 19th, 20th, 21st, and 22nd in January, opening up for Rod Digger. So that's going to be super dope.
That's incredible.
Yeah. So since we're actually talking about it, so the whole, what's amazing about Full Blast is that the tour we did is called Tour for Life, and it's for a really important cause. It's actually for mental health and suicide prevention. So all the proceeds actually are given to mental health awareness for Connecticut specifically. So it's a legit charity and everything. They've been doing this for years. So the headline acts that are booked, obviously they cost money, right?
Right.
So how can you afford to give money? So we were collectively, all the artists that performed, we were able, and tickets sold and all the merch and all that stuff, we raised just under like $11,000 that we were able to give. So it may not seem like a lot of money to a lot of people, but that's $11,000 that we're giving to an amazing cause. So it is, but these shows that we're doing now are fundraisers for the main tour, which is the one that we did, is in August. That's where you have like the big name acts. So these are basically all the money that is the revenue that's generated from these smaller tours are to be able to afford the tour in August when they get the bigger acts like Ghostface Killer and all that stuff. Like, he told us the number, which I won't say, but the number was really high to get Cannabis and Ghostface Killer and Rod Digger and Young Z, like all those acts each night.
Yeah.
It was a pretty penny. So in order to pay for that, he has to do GoFundMe and these type of shows, then church, plates, anything you can imagine, try to afford it. So it's dope that we're not just performing and getting new fans, but it's actually going all towards an amazing cause, which everyone can relate to, mental health, because whether they've gone through it themselves, they definitely have someone in their family or a loved one that has struggled with it, either currently, in the past, or they will in the future. So it's something that affects everybody. So I love that we're a part of something that it actually is giving back to the community in a positive way and through hip hop. So
yeah, I was gonna say I love that. That's what real true hip hop, was built on. Giving back to the community. So that's a wonderful thing. And like you said, mental health. My goodness, I think like we've all have dealt with our string of that. So very good cause.
Absolutely. So yeah, it sweetens the deal. Even if it wasn't, we would be happy, obviously, to be on tour performing for anybody. But it just makes it that much better that it goes to a good cause. So we know any money that's raised is going to help somebody at some point. So
most definitely. And now we got to get into your backstory. When did King Virtue, fall in love in hip hop? When did you, get your start?
It's a very long, complicated question, so I won't go too deep into it. But I will tell you, the simplest answer is, believe it or not, before I did any producing, I was a rapper. And before I was a rapper, I was a beatboxer. So I actually was a huge fan of Fat Boys. So, it's pretty amazing. I was a huge fan for years. And one of my favorite movies as a kid was Disorderlies.
Yeah.
And I was a fan of their music because I was an overweight kid too. So like I actually very much related to them, like seeing these overweight guys, beatboxing and rapping and looking cool and being cool. It was amazing. I want to say their first album came out in like 87 or something like that. So I was born in 1980. So I was like 7 years old. I want to say it was around that time. So I kind of like grew up like when they were dropping these albums. So I fell in love with beatboxing, and I was one of the only people in my school and in my area that could actually beatbox. So the reason why I always tell people that story is, some people started, breakdancing or graffitiing or a different element in hip hop. the reason why I tell that story is because I could beatbox, and this was, of course, before MP3 players and Bluetooth speakers, and everybody had a boombox. If you wanted to freestyle instead of just banging on the table, it would make it even sweeter if you were doing a cipher. If someone could actually kick a beat. So at that time, I'm not good anymore, but at that time I got really good at beatboxing, and I was the only one to do it. So I was always the guy that was beatboxing for other people to freestyle. So I did that all the time for ciphers and ciphers and ciphers, all the way up until probably I was maybe 16 or 17. And then I started, like, I really wanted to rap, you know? So I'm like, you know, somebody else has to either kick a beat, or we're just going to go a cappella, or we're going to, you know, use an instrumental, because I wanted to start, you know, rapping. And then I got pretty good at that, and I actually started battling people. And I, you know, in my suburb, you know, I would like try to find, you know, the other rappers and want to battle them, which was fun. Oh, you rap? All right, you know, let me see what you got. You know, I was nice for my area, but it wasn't like I was going to like Brooklyn or Queens to try to battle, you know, those guys. But fast forward, college, I meet Tony Dimes, who's part of Ghost Squad as well, and we met the first week of school, and we became friends through hip hop. Like, literally, hip hop brought us together, and we found out that we had lived, you know, a couple towns away from each other before we got there. And from that point on, we were thick as thieves, and we were every single day freestyling on our way to class, back from class. We were going to open mics, we were going to battles. And because we went to school and grew up in Long Island, and the proximity to New York City was only less than 40 minutes. So we'd either drive or hop on the train, and we'd go and see Dilated Peoples in the middle of the week. We'd go and see Common or The Roots, or like, you know, we just see all these. We've seen Black Star. We've seen, I mean, I could go on and on and on. The shows, the artists that we've seen Wordsworth, we've seen all of Helter Skelter, Duck Down, Eric Sermon. I mean, you name the artists, we saw them live at some point. That's how much we were into hip hop, and it meant to us. So we were just catching all these shows and freestyling, and we were living and breathing rap. So that you know, it kind of consumed my life. Like, every day it was just me and him rapping and freestyle. We had our own radio station, and we would invite people up there and throw on instrumentals and let them rap. We would freestyle on there, which was really cool. And then I switched over to production later on. So it started with beatboxing, then it went to rapping. Then I decided to hang up rapping, and I always had a love for production. And I dibbled and dabbled in it, and then I got pretty good at some point, but I wasn't really passionate about it. And then the quarantine, you know, woke up the beast. I was always making production. I was always making beats. But I would just sporadically do it. I'd get motivated, and then I'd cook something up for, you know, a couple of days, and then I wouldn't go back for a couple months.
Wow.
Because I was locked down and I already knew how to do it. I just was like, yo, I'm going to go in and I'm going to lock in. And I locked in, and I just started going and going and going. And I started really making some stuff, and I started sending it to So Soon, and he was just like, okay, all right. Yeah. Okay. Now we're on to something, you know, instead of 1 out of every 15 that I would send him were decent. Now, you know, 5 out of 7, he's like, I like that. I wanted to use that. All right, let's do something. So.
Wow. Well, you've done some incredible work and beats. I know I found you on social media. You know, you were doing Friday Feeling and duets with various, you know, artists. And I was like, this brother is dope. I told my team, I said, wait a minute, you know, we might have to do some collabs. Like,
yeah. So I'm glad you brought that up. So I haven't done Friday Feeling in a while, and that was very intentional. So for over a year, every single Friday, I would do what I called Friday Feeling. And it was cool. It was a way to market myself, you know what I mean? But it was also a way for me to challenge myself to stay sharp. So not only did I do that every Friday, and then if it was like Halloween or, you know, Thanksgiving or, you know, some type of holiday, I might do 3 that weekend. So I might do like part 1, part 2, part 3, you know, just give people 3 different beats. And I would just structure it because, you know, TikTok, you only had a minute to do a duet. So it wasn't too difficult to do. You know, I'd find a dope sample or some dope drums, and it just got to be really fun to see not only different people from Goat Squad do it, but just random people, because it's TikTok, right? So I like Thought 88, right? Like that dude, like, all these this cat in Compton, you know, I found him, Ray Morris Official. He's incredible. He's super dope. We're doing a couple of tracks together eventually. He has a couple of them, but He did a duet, and his was like amazing. Some of them are horrible, by the way. I just have to let that be known. So
Yeah.
I don't repost them or anything. Like I might give him a heart or be like, keep trying.
Yeah.
But I had to at one point limit. At one point I was basically reposting. I would take it from TikTok and put it on IG. Pretty much anyone that was doing it. And then when it started getting really bad, I was like, all right, I need to only put the good ones up.
Right.
Some of them are really bad. But it was just a way for me to promote my brand, and it just got really fun. Tony Dimes actually started rapping again. He'd always been freestyling, but he actually started like really presenting himself as a rapper from the duets. Like he saw me doing it, and me and him, like I said, Thick as Thieves talk all the time, and he wanted to hop on there, and he did one, and then he did another, and then he did another, and some other people started doing them, and it just kind of became a thing, and it caught on, and people could look forward to every Friday. They knew I was going to drop something. And then in between that, I also was doing my 30 for 30s. So my 30 for 30 was I would do 30 beats in 30 days, where I challenged myself to every day. I didn't pre-make the beats, sit down. Sometimes before work, I give it 5 o'clock in the morning just to make sure that I had that one done for the day. And sometimes when I got off work, and I'd sit down at 7:30 at night and make sure that I got it done. And every day for 30 days, I created a brand new beat, put it online, posted it on IG for 30 days straight. It's a maddening thing to do, and I thought that I was doing something really good until I found out that Pete Rock does like 30 beats in a week. And I found that out from Ninth Wonder, because Ninth Wonder thought that he was doing a lot. And when he heard that Pete Rock was doing 30, so I really thought I was like really killing it. And then, you hear your idols that are smoking you in the amount of beats that they're doing. I'm like, all right, that was cute, but I need to. So I really thought I was doing something, but that was really fun because it when you're doing 30 beats in 30 days and trying not to sound the same every day, it forces me to be creative and find different ways. So some days I would do something, just straight boom bap. Another day I would do something R&B. I did one where I did a house track, and I ended up releasing that song, which was actually pretty dope. Or do something, a little scary or a little laid back, a little West Coast vibe. Just try to like challenge myself to not sound the same each time. So I was doing that as well as the freestyle on Friday, as well as releasing music and connecting and building and, making singles and EPs and albums all along. So I decided to take a little hiatus from the freestyle, from the Friday feeling rather, because of all the other stuff that I've been doing musically with, EPs and albums and singles and the tours and everything else. I figured I'd, step away for a little bit and, kind of let them miss me. And then, I'll kind of come back on the scene. The idea is somewhere, I'm not going to say the exact date, after the first of the year, I'll start doing it again. Because it really was fun for me. Like I never knew who was going to hop on it, and if they were going to kill it. And sometimes it would be a beat that I didn't think anyone would really resonate with. I had one where like 12 different people, like it just for whatever reason, everyone was loving it. So everyone was just hopping on it. It was like one person, another person, everybody kind of brought a different flavor to it. So that was really cool. So never know how people are going to respond to it. So it's fun. For me, this whole thing is about fun and about the art. It really isn't about the money. Like as soon as it stops becoming fun for me, I don't want to do it anymore. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Because I'm not a spring chicken. I'm not young anymore. So I'm not kind of like, this is all or nothing and I got to do it or my life is over. Like I truly do it because I love the art and I love the camaraderie and I love to hear people rap over my music. That's the greatest feeling in the world. And I love when my kids hear my music and they're excited and they think I'm some big superstar because I have music on YouTube. That's awesome for me. But I genuinely do it for the love of it. If I can make money from it, please, yes, that would be wonderful. But that's not what the goal is. And I truly believe, like they say in anything in life, if you do it for the love first, the money will eventually come. So
I agree 100%. And the work will reflect if you love it. It really will reflect. You'll put your best work, forward if you actually love what you're doing. Yep.
And to that point, that's why I'm very, very we've had these conversations offline. That's why I'm like very against beat stars, not people that put their beats on there. I get it. It's a hustle. It's a way to get money. So I'm not knocking anybody. I refuse to do that because I want anytime someone works with me, they're getting a one of one. So if you're familiar with BeatStars, you know, there literally might be 30 other people, 50 other people, 100 other people, depending on how dope the beat is, that have rapped over it out there. And, you know, we've even come across it a couple of times where we've actually, you know, someone from our camp did a song that was on BeatStars, and then another camp did it, and we actually heard their song. And we had another artist that did one, and one of those songs actually became a platinum selling artist. I won't say who it was, but that happened. You know what I mean? So good for them, you know what I'm saying, for those guys that end up, you know, reaching that level. But I just don't like that. For me, it's like, you know, it's my art, it's my baby. Like I want people to know if they're getting a beat from King Virtue, it's a one of one. They're never going to hear that anywhere else but there. Like someone else might hear the beat, but you know what I'm saying?
Right.
They're not
use it.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, like I really seriously take that personally. And like I could have been selling beats on BeatStars, you know, 2 or 3 years ago and probably made a decent amount of money, but it's just my integrity. Like I'd rather build a catalog of dope music where my name is associated with dope artists and dope music. So when you hear, you know, I come from the old school of Pete Rock, Havoc, Alchemist. So, you know, when you hear their name produce a track, you're going to hit play because you know it's going to be dope just because they produce it. I want that to happen. I don't want it to be, you know, completely diluted because, you know, little Percocet and little this one want to rap over, you know, just to lease my stuff for $30. And there be this trash that's out there and then my name even associated with it. So I'm just super against it. I mean, if I ever get in dire straits, I still don't think I'll ever do it. I mean, I can't. I like to be involved in the process of, which is why my name is everywhere when you see the production. One producer should get credit, but I like to really have a hand in the song. Like I don't want to just make the beat and send it off and you send it back and okay, here you go. Like, no, I want to have a say in it. Like I really want to help produce the record. You know, I want it to come out the best way it possibly can. And not just be a beat maker. I'm going to actually be a producer. And there is a difference, and a lot of people don't understand it. Some people just want beat makers. They don't want producers. They want people telling them to make the track better. And the best tracks that have ever been made, there's been a producer behind the beat maker, if it wasn't the beat maker that made the record what it became.
Right. So. That's so true. No, I love that. I love the personal touch. You know, I love the personal touch, you know, keeping it organic, you know, for each artist too. And you really, really, you know, truly care about your work. So I love that. I love that.
And I
like the fact, Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I specifically, any artist that I work with, if I don't already know them, I actually, I will study their music. So if I haven't worked with them before, any music that they've created already, I'll actually study so I can get a better understanding of who they are. So then I can craft something specific to that artist. So I didn't mean to cut you off, but I just want to say, so that's something that I take serious. So if I plan on working with somebody that I've never worked with before and they have music that's out, I'll go through their entire catalog to understand who they are, the type of beats that they like, the type of melodies that they like, the type of rapping that they do or singing, whatever it may be. So then I can craft something that would make sense. Like, you're not going to make a rock and roll beat for somebody that spits hip hop, right? I mean, it should match the energy of that person. So I make sure I do that. I craft the beat for said MC or singer.
Wow, I love that. That means they're going to get great work out of that because you actually care about what you're doing. You're interested in, you know, making it personalized for the artist. So yeah, that's dope. That is so dope.
And I'm patient, so like I don't rush anything. Like it drives some people crazy, but I have no problem letting it slow burn and cook until it's right. Like I don't believe in rushing. I'd rather it take if it takes 6 months to get it right, when it comes out, it's going to be right, and it'll be worth the wait when it does come out. And that's my personal opinion.
Hey, and you know what's so dope? One of my artists on the certified, Jayla Aka Hendricks, he wants to tap in. He already loves your energy. So, I mean, I'm just saying, you're going to have artists want to tap in.
Yeah, definitely. No, I appreciate it, for real.
Definitely have to tap in. And I got to ask, how did you come up with the name King Virtue? That's a dope name too.
Thank you. So it's a funny story behind it, but so my original artist name was actually Beatbop because I beatboxed, right? So I got Beatbop from Bebop and Rocksteady. Remember Ninja Turtles back in the day? So I went by Bebop. And then I switched that name to just Virtue. It wasn't King Virtue. It was actually MC Virtue. Me and Tony Dimes were jungle MCs or raga MCs, which now what drill music is, what they're rapping over that is technically jungle music, which comes from the UK. We were doing that in the year 2000. So now it's become kind of mainstream, but we were doing it. I mean, because it was really huge overseas, and we had a bunch of friends that went and studied abroad over in England and Europe for a semester. So when they came back, they brought that music with them, right? Because over here, we didn't know anything about this music that even existed, right?
Right.
This was before dubstep, so this was like drum and bass, which is basically like sped up hip hop production. And then they used to have MCs that actually rapped over. We had never heard anything like this before, right? This was like the internet. It was only out for a few years, so it wasn't like everything is all over. So when they brought this all back, we were like, what? We were trying to wrap our mind around it, like, yo, it's the thing over there, everybody, And then we listened to some of it, and they're like rapping fast over this, really fast, sped up hip hop production. And one day, one of our friends, a DJ, was in the dorm room, and he was playing a drum and bass record. And remember, me and Tony were freestyling every day all the time, and we just happened to be freestyling while he was spinning the record, and it was like ding, like the light went off.
Mm-hmm.
You guys should rap over this. And we were kind of like, nah. And he's like, yeah. So we actually did that for a while. For like 2 years, we actually was considered jungle MCs. And we went to all these different raves and performed live in front of people over drum and bass music. I forgot why I went down the rabbit hole for that story, but what was that?
Oh, because we were talking about your name, like how,
my name. Sorry.
Yes, there you go.
So, but the name back then, that's what I was saying. So the name was, it was MC Virtue, and it was MC Dimes, right? MC Tony Dimes. And it might even have been Venom before. Dimes, correct me if I'm wrong if you're still in here. At one point it was Venom, but it was Dimes, MC Dimes, and MC Virtue. But it was VIR2UE. And the reason why is because I always loved the word. Growing up, I was always had a very good vocabulary. Like, used to win spelling bees and stuff like that. My dad used to make me read the newspaper, and any word I didn't understand, I'd have to look it up in the dictionary and then tell him what the definition was. Mm-hmm. And I just, for some reason, I just always loved the word virtue and what it actually meant. So I just thought it was the coolest thing ever. I was like, yo, I like virtue, but I didn't like virtue by itself. And, instead of saying MC, I was like, King Virtue. So originally it was King VIR2UE. And then I dropped my first record, and then I realized, not thinking, that there's another King Virtue out there that spells the same way. It's a rock group. And it's like, well, King Virtue, VIR2UE. So immediately I scramble. I'm like, all right, well, I'm not going to go through my entire career, whatever career I have, having the same exact stage name as somebody else. Right. But I really was stuck to the name Virtue. So I said, what's the best way I can change the spelling and make it dope? So I just switched the T to a 2. So and now, yeah, the only thing that sucks about it is that, trying to tell Alexa, Virtue, because if you say Virtue,
right.
I'm hoping my name will become big enough one day that it'll know that the 2, King Virtue means me. But yeah, I mean, I love it. It makes it different. It looks cooler. So that's where the name actually came from. There's not some amazing story behind it. I just happen to love the word virtue, but the way I spell it, that's how it came about. I literally had to do it out of necessity, and I was fortunate enough to say, well, yeah, it would still be pronounced virtue if I make it a 2.
Yeah. Hey, it looks cool. Look, I got letter number 3 and activated, so it's all right. It works.
Exactly. So now I can couldn't picture it any other way. But I do have some like old flyers, and Tony Dimes has some too of us performing, you know, in New York City with our old names on the flyer, and it was, you know, Virtue with a T, and it was like MC Dimes, because they still went by MC. This was after people had stopped saying MC, like MC Hammer and everything else. But over there and doing jungle music, they still went by MC such and such. Everybody was MC Flipside, MC this, MC that. So I was MC Virtue.
Got you. And now you're on to the king, you know, and I see you are rocking some merch there. You got to tell people about the dope merch too.
Yes. So this is our logo for Ghost Squad. It's actually pretty dope. I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah.
It's pretty dope. So we as a collective, we have it on MikeHoffa.com, we have it on KingVirtue.com, we have it on TrueWordsMusic.com. A few other members as well have some Ghost Squad merch as well. So it's kind of we kind of have it at will. So like, you know, we can design it how we want. We all use the image how we would like, you know, depending on different flavors. Like So Soon, he likes to go a little bit crazy when he does his fashion stuff because he's really a fashionista.
Yeah.
He gets really, really creative. Hoffa does too. Really stylish when it comes to his designs and stuff. So yeah, I mean, if you wanted to support and find it, we'll have merch at our shows when we do our tours, or even the one-off shows. But you can always support us and go to, like I said, my website, which is KingVirtue.com, TrueWordsMusic.com, MikeHoffa.com. And then we also have, which I'm glad I'm remembering it now because I definitely want to forget this. If you don't know, Ghost Squad, we actually have our own app.
Nice.
So literally, if you go to Android or iOS and type in Ghost Squad, we have our own app. Shout out to DJ Unbreakable, who's one of our artists and DJs. She actually facilitated making this app happen. And if you go to the app, you download it, it'll have all of the members on there and then all of our links. So you can get merch that way, but you can also see each member of Ghost Squad and click on the link, and it'll take you to their respective website and videos and stuff like that. So we literally, Ghost Squad we have our own app. So it helps a lot because we have so many different members. So it's easier instead of like trying to remember who's who and everything. If we just say download the Ghost Squad app, which is free, and then if you remember me, you'll find my name, click on my link, and then you'll also discover other artists. You'll see other artists that you may not have even heard of and discover and realize why they're part of Ghost Squad, because they're dope and they bring their own energy or they bring their own, you know, expertise in whatever it is that they do. So the app is super dope. And another member of Ghost Squad is Regular Cat Combo, and he actually has a radio station, a 24/7 hip hop radio station, and plays literally nothing but real hip hop. And it's to the point where if he plays a song that is whack, he literally wants you to tell him. Like, he literally said, please DM me if you ever hear anything on there that you're just like, yo, this ain't it. Like, he wants to know, and he'll remove it from the rotation. But most importantly, we linked up with him because he was actually one of the first people that was actually purchasing our music and adding it to a radio station. So, like, you know, you can get everything through, you know, YouTube and Spotify. He was actually buying our singles and records and then adding it to his platform. So that was super dope. So that's how we first connected. He first started buying True Words music, and then by proxy, you know, discovered me, and then So Soon, and so on and so forth, and then the whole Ghost Squad. And then, of course, we brought him in because he's very connected to hip hop in a lot of ways and knows a lot of people, and he's an amazing conduit for us in hip hop, and he knows a lot of people in the game. So he has his own podcast and interviews a bunch of people. He's interviewed almost everyone in Ghost Squad, and he's interviewed a bunch of people from Sky Zoo to Show Rock to Jay Roberts. You name it, he's had them. He's had a lot of dope rappers on his show, and other people as well. So anyway, he's part of Ghost Squad too. But you can go there and you can listen to. Not only will you hear our music on his radio station 24/7, but you'll also hear just dope hip hop.
Oh, that's dope. Yeah. That's dope. I gotta tap in. And this is his YouTube. Looks like here that I got on the screen, right? This is him.
That's his YouTube. Yep. But the station, if you go to if you go to the app, you can get to the radio station through the app. But if you don't go through the app, you can just go to Live 365 and then just type in regular cat and it'll come right up. You don't even have to type in regular cat combo, regular cat, and it'll come right up. And it's 24/7 hip hop, and it really does play. I'm not just saying it because he's part of the group. I mean, like I was listening one day for like an hour, and it went from like Brand Nubian to J. Cole to Jay-Z to Scarface. Like it was just like just an amazing, it would jump from like 88, then it went all the way to Third Base. It was just, yeah, you know what I mean? Like it'll take you to 89 and then take you to, 2021, and it's just all the great music that real hip hop lovers appreciate. You're not gonna find any of the extra rah BS crap that you're gonna hear commercially. Right.
All the commercial and the payola and all of that. No, I like this. I'm tapping into that for real because we need stations like that for sure.
Yeah. And he really, like, if he listens and finds you and supports you, like, add it to your radio station. Like we've discovered so many amazing artists that are just like us through the station, because he'll only play it if he likes it, like legitimately, like he's a fan of it. If it's playing on the radio station, he likes it.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a dope addition to everything that we bring. We've tried to become somewhat of a conglomerate where we have me being an in-house producer. We just added another producer named Vince Vega. We have MCs that can rap fast, that can rap slow, that can do punchlines, that can do it all. You know what I'm saying? In-house mixing, mastering, like can do cover art, who can design clothes. I mean, you name it. We're kind of a one-stop shop for a lot of stuff, which makes it a lot easier because we tend to work together on a bartering system because we're all just trying to come up, right? So it can get expensive paying for cover art and paying for, and then also videos, like Who I Be, one of our artists, yours truly, the poet, he's the one that actually shot and edited it for us. So he's one of our artists. So it's a lot better than paying, $600, $700, $800 for a really dope video from a videographer when you can have somebody that's part of your camp who's still going to pay, but he's not going to beat you over the head like, somebody else would because he's part of the crew,
Right.
So you literally have every facet of what you could possibly need to create a record, promote a record, push a record, and play a record all within the camp.
I love that. How long did it take to just, get everybody together?
It was organically. Like I said, there's been a couple of people that have kind of come and gone. It just kind of wasn't for them. Some people aren't going to fit. You have some personalities clash, or just I think for some people, they were expecting things to be just different. You know what I'm saying? Like you gel with who you gel with. And there's a lot of personalities that are involved because there's so many of us. So you kind of got to be on the same page or it doesn't really work. But I would say realistically, if I was to just give a general statement, I would say just less than 2 years.
Wow.
Just less than 2 years where we kind of really got it down. Some people kind of come and go, but to get the core, and some people bring in other people, you know what I'm saying? Like I brought in So Soon as my cousin, he's been a great addition. And then, you have other people bringing other people. And next thing you know, they're a great fit, so, and then you realize that, and then they start, somebody I bring in and somebody that True brings in, and then they collaborate together and they make something special. And it's super dope because it's not that hard to do when you get people that have that same type of vibe. They're on the same time, and they start making dope music together. So, and there's a lot of dope music that's coming out of Ghost Squad, a lot.
Oh man, yeah, I can already. I mean, from what I've heard, I already know there's more dope music coming. So, like within the next few months, like what are we looking at as far as like artist wise? What are we gonna expect to hear?
Yeah, wow, quite a bit. So there's a project that myself as a producer, it's called the Pazan Project. Tony Dimes and Mike Hoffa. The three of us are Italian. They're 100% Italian. I'm a small percentage of Italian. My last name is Patillo. The Paisan Project, where I'm doing all the beats and they're rhyming, and We're more than halfway done with the project. It was going to be an EP, and it's kind of morphed into an album. But we have a song and video that we're going to be dropping relatively soon, which is called Heat Wave, and that's fire. The amount of stuff that's just been dropping. Me and True Words just dropped Mind Tricks. I'm on Halloween. On the 23rd, me, So Soon, Tony Dimes, and Solomon Childs from Theodore Unit, Wu-Tang's family.
Mm-hmm.
We dropped that track. K Banger and Mike Hoffa just dropped a track called Pay Dues, and they have an entire EP that they're dropping. K Banger and True have an album that they're dropping. Gons has an EP that he's dropping. This is all within the next few months, besides the stuff I already just mentioned. That has just literally released in the past few weeks. So Soon just released his new single a couple days ago. I guess 2 days ago now. And he's dropping his project on his birthday, November 28th. I only remember that because he's my family. And that's called Sony Quarantine Volume 3. Am I right, So Soon? I think so. But that album is crazy. He's got a few Ghost Squad members on there. So that's coming in November. And then December, again, you have the True Words and K Banger. We have the video that me and Baller Brown just dropped for intro, Rise to Virtue. And 3 weeks ago, we dropped the video to Goat, of course. And then she just shot the video for Trap or Fly because we did a whole album together. We did 10 tracks. We released an entire album together. And we're still releasing videos. So, yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot. No quarantines. My bad, So Soon. He's right. It's just called Sony Volume 3. He has a whole series, and I'm just stuck on quarantine because that was the project I had my hand in the most. So,
you're good.
I apologize, So Soon. I'm saying sorry to him because I know he just said no quarantine, just Sony Volume 3.
Oh, no, you good.
Yeah, it's fire. It's I've heard the project, and he always makes great albums. So, but yeah, there's besides the tours and performances and stuff, as you see, tons of music and videos. Yours truly is dropping some music soon, and then Regular Cat, who I mentioned as the radio station, he is dropping a mixtape, and he's got an amazing cast of artists. Ghost Squad is heavily featured on there. I produced a couple of original tracks that I'm super proud of that came out amazing. But he has a lot of dope, talented artists, hip hop artists that are on there. And they just released the first single and video off of that, which happened to be Gons and Mike Hoffa. It's called Seeing Red. It's on YouTube. Amazing video. And that's like the lead off single to the mixtape. And that's going to be dropping in the next few weeks as well. So,
wow.
Not exaggerating. There's a lot. There's a lot coming, a lot more in the works. And everyone also is, working on other things as well besides things in Ghost Squad. So we're all working together. But, I have projects and songs that I'm doing with other people, and everyone else does too. So we're busy. We're staying active, and, we're really just trying to make it happen. And the performance part of things is really starting to elevate because we've gained a lot of respect going on the road and really putting on a really good show. And we're super professional about it. And they want us to keep doing it. So we're going to keep showing up and keep performing, and, hopefully that turned into something. So it's exciting to make the records and put them out, but it's even more exciting to perform them live and get that live reaction from people.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. I mean, the consistency, and the hard work that you guys put in, you guys definitely deserve it. And I know I said it off air, but I'll say it on the live, the entire team, they're more than welcome to be guests on Activated. Everybody has their own individual stories. I love promoting this wonderful hard work and hip hop. So y'all already know, just say the word. You're definitely welcome.
Nah, they will definitely appreciate that. Thank you so much, for real. That means a lot to all of us.
No. And of course, you're always, welcome back, because I know you're going to always be working and there's going to be something new coming. So it's like,
Always.
I might have to make you get up here and start doing some beats or something, just on the fly.
Yeah. No, it's crazy. It never stops. Sometimes I gotta unplug, because it does become a lot, as where you just gotta like pause for a minute. but it's also exciting. You know, in the same breath, like we're getting opportunities to work with, you know, people that we grew up with or legends. You know, when you get to, you know, do a record with somebody that you grew up listening and you couldn't even fathom being in the same room with them, let alone having a record with them, that just changes your whole perspective on what's possible.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Sure.
yeah, True just said it's called The Statement by True Words and the Banger is actually being released in January. So yeah, it's there's so much music that's coming out. I'm just so proud of it because, like I said, we're really true to who we are. You know what I mean? We're not, and it not that we're against. You know, like I'll listen to the rah rah and drill and all that stuff. Like there's a time and place for it. Like, you know, one of my favorite groups is Mobb Deep. You know, I listen to them and somebody gets killed every other rhyme, but it's still a dope record, you know what I'm saying? Right. I didn't want to go out and kill anybody, but you know, we live in our truth, and we just love. We're trying to break the idea, which it already has been broken by now, that there's no age limit on dope rap. You know, you keep doing it until it's not dope anymore.
Right.
You know, we're all in our 30s or early 40s, and I don't care. I'm gonna keep going until I don't want to do it anymore, or I'm just totally whack.
Right. Hey, you know what? Well, you know, people got to stop putting a timestamp, you know, on hip hop. You know what I mean?
Look at Black Thought. I mean, Black Thought, Jay-Z, I mean, Method Man, all these guys in their 50s, and Kane just dropped a record with Busta Rhymes and Conway. I mean, Kane's what, 56 or something? He's up there, and like, and he showed out. You know, he's still, you know, dropping bombs on people. So yeah, I'm happy to finally see that, because for a long time there was a lot of ageism in hip hop, and I feel like now we're in an opportunity where it's okay. It's okay to be 40 something and drop a dope project, and nobody cares as long as it's fire. You know,
right?
How old you are, if it's dope, it's dope. So I love that about hip hop right now, and we need more of it.
Most definitely, we got to keep spreading that, you know, and like people like yourself, and you know, it's definitely going to help. You know, your team. Yeah. We just got to keep this going. We got to pass it on to our future generations.
Absolutely. And again, I want to tell you, you know, I follow everything that you and your team do, and there's a lot of similarities in how you guys move and how we move. And, you know, I wish you guys all the love and success that you have coming your way, because I see you guys doing big things all the time. And, you know, when I see you do the live shows, I always tap in, and you know, you guys are making moves too. So.
And I definitely appreciate the support. And, you know, you and your team always got my support. When you guys got something coming out, you know, hit me up so I can share it or do whatever I need to do on my end, you know. You know,
thank you for real.
Just the support. That's what it's all about. I think if more people were supporting each other, like I always say, we can all win. We can all have a seat at the table. That's what it's about.
That's right. Yeah, like-minded people, you know, can get there if we work together and not against each other. Because like, I know it's not even like we're a competition. Like you might be able to plug me in with somebody that could be beneficial to me, and vice versa. You know, it's a win-win for everybody. It's not you know, we got to get there first, or we're better than you. It's like, no, you know, we may have something that you need, and vice versa, or just, you know, there's also a better chance when you have two teams together of somebody actually breaking through.
Yes.
Like,
there you go.
It's a numbers game, you know, and then if you actually have a lot of talent in both crews, the chances are even higher. So yeah, I'm a firm believer in, you know, helping each other, you know, get to the top, you know. So I believe if you have the same type of mind state, which we clearly do, that it's only a matter of time before that happens. So
right. Amen to that. Amen to that. And then one more, you know, deep question for you. What legacy does King Virtue want to leave behind?
I'm glad you mentioned that. So an ongoing joke that all my my comrades, they know. So some people think that I'm saving all my favorite beats for myself, like Kanye did, because when I eventually want to do my own album, and the name of the album is going to be called Digital Legacy. So I have this theory or mantra or whatever you want to call it, is digital legacy, is that we're fortunate enough to live in a time and age where our music will literally live on forever. So like 200 years from now, my great grandkids can pull up King Virtue, their great granddad, and say, and listen to my music, right? Mm-hmm. Never before in history was that possible, really, you know, that easily as it is now. So for me, the legacy is I want my kids to be able to like be proud. I mean, it's cool when they do it now, you know, like they'll tell their friends and, you know, type in King Virtue and, you know, see my dad. And, but like really have a catalog of really dope music, you know, extensive catalog of videos and music that, you know, my grandkids can pull up and just be like, yo, that was my dad. That was awesome. Like, you know, he did that song with True Words and he went crazy. You know, the song with Tony Downs was so soon, man. They were rapping, you know, and being able to see them in their 70s and, you know, see where they are then and then see them in their younger self, you know, rapping and being all cool and stuff. So I'm really thinking about it like that, like the legacy of this is what I did when I was here, but it'll live on forever. So the name of the album will be called Digital Legacy.
I love that. Can't wait for that. Truly great. Truly great. And, you know, we were saving like a real special track, you know, to end the show with, you know, Don't Walk Away. But before we get into that, are there any shout outs to you that you want to give? And also, do you want to kind of talk about Don't Walk Away before we, you know, play it?
Yeah, sure. And I'll keep it brief. Yeah, I want to shout out everybody in Goat Squad. I don't want to leave anybody's name out. Everybody that's part of Goat Squad. I love everybody. Everyone brings something to the table. In one way or another, you know, we have an app, we have a radio show, we have a videographer, we have MCs, we have people to do cover art. I mean, everybody just plays their position awesomely, and anything that they can to help us get to the next level. Everyone is trying to help each other get there. So I just want to shout out everybody on the team. Shout out my fiance Tia, who supports me in my madness, because I can drive her crazy with this. The amount of time that I spend in on the phone and in the studio and doing all this extra stuff to try to make it happen. And you know, the touring and, you know, going out of state for ciphers and all this other stuff. It's a lot, you know, especially when you're not generating income and you're actually spending money to make it happen. But yeah, I just want to shout out my team, everybody that's on the team, and specifically her for putting up with me. And then to tell you about the record, it's just a super deep record that was, I was going through some mental health issues, and to get a better understanding, when you watch the video, if you watch it afterwards, if you just read the description, it'll kind of really, because I don't want to bring the mood down too much. But you know, I was kind of really going through something, and one day in my inbox, about 6 months later, after I had gone through that, my cousin So Soon and K Banger had sent me a track over a song over one of my beats, and I didn't know what it was, so I just hit play, and I'm listening to it, and then I realized, you know, about 12 bars in, that this is actually about me and my situation, and it was super inspirational. And the song is called Don't Walk Away, and it's basically, at that point I was really thinking about just kind of hanging it all up and just being like, you know what, I don't want to do this anymore. It's not fun, you know, I'm depressed and so on and so forth. And the song is literally don't walk away, like you're important, you're good at what you do. You know, everybody goes through tough times, but at the end of the day, just don't walk away. Just kind of keep pushing through and you'll be all right. So it's a very inspirational song that anyone can appreciate at any stage in their life, no matter what they're going through, because we're all just trying to not give up on our dreams, whatever that may be. You know, maybe it's to be a singer, maybe it's to be a cartoonist, or whatever it is in your life. You want to be the CEO of your company. Don't give up, don't walk away. You know, it's a simple thing, but most people do walk away or they give up. You know, they just tap out. You know, things get hard. So this song is just a reminder when things get tough and times get hard. You know, listen to this song when you're thinking about hanging it up. Listen to this and remember, hey, we need you around. So it's a super dope record, and I'm super proud of it. And it's an amazing thing. It's an amazing song.
Wow, you should be proud, and definitely has a dope message. That's why we saved it for last, you know, to give just that dope message, you know. But before we play, you know, I want to thank you again for, you know, gracing this platform. Let's Get Activated podcast. You know, you're episode 92. So humbly appreciate you coming on and appreciate everybody for tapping in. You know, we're live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, CertifiedNationEntertainment.com. We're going to post this on the IG afterwards. So we're putting it everywhere. If you missed the whole live, rewatch on all those platforms. You know, definitely give this man his just due and the GOAT Squad their just due for sure.
And last but not least, of course, thank you for inviting me. And you know, I know you are so busy, you are so booked. Like we booked this, you know, so many months ago, and you know, you kept joking about how quickly it was gonna, you know, come up. You're like, yeah, I know it seems like it's really far away, but it's gonna be here before you know it. And you know, you were right. So I appreciate it. Like I said, the guests that you've had on here. To even be mentioned in their, you know, in the same circle as some of the people you've had in here is an honor and a privilege. So I really don't take it for granted, and I appreciate it. So thank you, and thank you for taking the time. And yeah, I mean, hopefully, you know, at some point we can get, you know, some of the other GOAT Squad members on here, and you can hear their story and hear how dope they are too. Because yeah, we got some amazing talent. And I'm not just saying that because they're part of the crew. They're really, really, really dope. So thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Oh, no, you're more than welcome. And we'll definitely get each member, you know, locked in because everybody on the squad deserves it. So I definitely got you all for sure.
Appreciate that, for real.
For sure, for sure. So everybody, you know, please stick around because we are going to close it out, you know, with this amazing track, you know, and video, Don't Walk Away. Again, this was a pleasure. You know, we are activated. So let's go with Don't Walk Away.
Thank you.
It's K-Banger. King Virtue, the track, homie. Yeah. Don't walk away from your passion. Quitting's in fashion, but stay to collect and to cash in. Never walk away because your dream isn't happening, but walk away from offensive reaction. Face your fear, the breakthrough is right there if you walk toward it. God will reward it, yeah. They all come once the work gets done, but the hand that doesn't work gets none. Adversary, unsanitary, cold as Canada in January. Don't walk away. Darkness is imaginary, but the guidance is planetary. Anyone or anything on everything. Aim and engage on the enemy like a wedding ring. To get here is a long way to come, but we don't have the time for playing dumb.
Don't ever walk away. We never lost today. No matter what the odds may say, don't ever walk away.
I'm still on that boom bap-ish, homie. Still discovered by those who didn't know me. Even when other levels are getting lonely, celebrate your own ceremony. Give yourself the trophy. Keep going, keep growing, keep motion like deep stroking. Sleep on no one's streets opposing. Self-defense is a must when defeat is closing. Reach for knowing. Prophecies others saw that we would see and bear witness. After 400 years of slavery, we bear riches. Media got us thinking that we're finished. We're just getting started, grant forgiveness. We in a storm like this ship is sinking, but stay on it. Too anxious to make a decision and pray on it. Live by the gun, die by the gun. If that's how you come, best be ready to run.
Don't ever walk away. We never lost today. No matter what the odds may say, don't ever walk away.
Had a homie who was having a hard time. Divorce, custody, COVID, he almost lost his mind. I tried to reach out, but he wouldn't answer the line. Ended up in ICU, watching for suicide. I was crying inside. My brother nearly died, overdosed on alcohol. Only the strong survive. But he's alive today, it's worth the price to pay. Now we're all benefiting. He didn't walk away.
Off today, the cost to play. The seas shark infested, you fell off the wave. Caught the fade on the wire. Walking away, sawed off Michael K. The floor is lobby, you lost your faith, but refer to this tune when shit is turbulent. Squat. Nourish your wounds and fix your tourniquet. Refer to your roots, music is nourishment. Don't walk away from your truth. Fulfill your service, got an army full of brand new recruits who need encouragement. The military base is the booth, elite servicemen. Marching to the drum of your loops to beat your murder quick. If these bars divert from the truth, get refurbished. I'm just giving you game, king that Gilly shit. That's the name of the game, King Resilience. Stack Benjamins for producing that straight brilliance, or you can walk around with a fruit and play civilian. Even the greatest coach needs some motivation. Basic training's where you hone the basics. Declare your mind and then control the majors. The team is loaded with aces and designated hit makers who can load the bases. You bubbling just like a soda maker. When you pop, don't get complacent. The top know when to throw a change up. A tragedy when your rivals call you overrated. Acquired haters, now you know you made it. The road to greatness is front loaded with no vacation. I know the way took the road less travel back to my home Jamaica. I wrote the script and played the lead, that's why you're so amazing. Spoiler alert, it takes years to be a grown cicada. Street dreams made street teams a load of paper. Europeans turn these streams to stolen labor. But each stream turns these streams to grapevines. A weak season can turn Riesling to molded raisins. Pre-seasons where leaders control the destiny. The pre-season to marinate for the recipe. We preheating, we're right where we expect to be. Might throw in the book like Phoenix and give you 70. I pledge allegiance to rap because she treasured me before I had a reason to rap. She was impressing me. Keep producing the tracks cause that's your specialty. And I'ma keep improving and stack the digital legacy. So, K Banger, King Virtue.